In this demo, we're going to look at the CNOS5112 Practical Assignment 1 in 2024, question 2.3, Managing Disk and File Systems. So if I'm looking at the assignment question, it says you need to compare the disk management tool and storage spaces, so proceed to do the following. Using disk management tool, create the dynamic volumes, a 10 gigabyte simple volume, a 20 gigabyte RAID 1 volume, 15 gigabyte RAID 5 volume, name them suitably, and then create the following storage spaces. It gives us the name of Windows 10A and Windows 10B. Okay, for the sake of this demonstration, I'm just going to do both of this on the same computer. Now, what screenshots do I need to take and how do I go about doing this question? Firstly, I'll need to go to Learn. So I'll click and go to Learn. And in Learn, I can see if I go to Learning Units, Managing Disks is covered in Learning Unit 2. So I'll click on that. And then I can see there's Managing Disks and File Systems here. And then they show me the theory about how to accomplish these tasks. So what is the different disk technologies, partition styles, disk types, etc. Then they've also got some videos that I can watch on disk, how to use disk management, how to create virtual hard disks, and then how to manage storage spaces. There's also a demonstration video that I can watch here as well. Now it says here that this is module 5 of my prescribed textbook. I can go and look at the slides. So I've got learning units, then I've got more resources, lecture slides, and then I'm going to open module 5 slides. Once I've opened module 5 slides, I will see that it's going to tell me more about the theory about how these disks works. And I'll read all of the different information that is found here on virtual hard disks, managing disks, disk partitions, what is the difference between GPT and MBR, the disk types, basic dynamic storage spaces, and then it gives me more information about each of these different types of disks that are available in Windows 10. I've also got storage spaces. It tells me what is the difference between a storage space, a storage pool. It continues. It gives me some guidelines as to what to expect and some errors, etc. The disk management tools, I can use disk management, I can use disk paths or the storage commandlets, and then I can go and have a look at what do these things look like. So this is the theory on where and how to use the different tools that's necessary to complete this question. Then I'll go into Azure Virtual Labs. From Azure Virtual Labs, I'm going to open up either Windows 10A or Windows 10B that I've created. I'm going to go into, I've got Windows 10A here. So I'm going to right click here and I'm going to select Disk Management. And currently I can see I've got disk 0 and I've got a CD-ROM that's installed here. If I scroll down here, there's no other disks that have been installed. In order for me to create multiple, to create RAID 1, RAID 0, and the storage spaces, I need to install multiple hard drives into this virtual computer. How am I going to do that? I'm going to go here to my Hyper-V Manager. Okay, so there's my Hyper-V Manager. And from Hyper-V Manager, I'm going to highlight the machine that I'm working on. So I'm currently working on this machine here, which is Subain Win 10 AA. I'm going to go to its settings. And remember, this needs to be SCSI controller on the top. That's why we chose generation 2 virtual machine when we installed. If it says IDE controller, then you've used the wrong generation of virtual computer, you need to reinstall your virtual computer. I'll click on the SCSI controller. I want to add a new hard drive. I'll click on Add, and then click on New. I'm going to go to the wizard, and I'll leave it as dynamically expanding. I'm going to give it a meaningful name so that I know if I need to delete these disks later on, what are they called? So this one is Win10 AA, that's the name of my virtual computer, and I'm going to call it disk 2. I'm going to go next. I'll leave it as the default, next, and then finish. I'm going to click on apply. Then I'll click again on SCSI controller, hard drive, add, new, next, next, and this one I'm going to call it disk 3. So it's Win10 AA disk 3. Next, next, finish. Click on apply again. As you can see, it's busy adding these additional hard drives here to the SCSI controller. I'm going to click on SCSI controller again, click on add, new, next, next, and this one I'm going to call it disk 4. So Win10 AA disk 4. Next, next, and finish. I've given it names so that I know that these hard drives, these additional hard drives here, is attached to my virtual computer called 10AA. I'll click on apply and then OK. Now, if I go into my disk management here, I'm going to open it again, right click, and I'm going to go to disk management. It's going to show me that I need to initialize these 3 hard drives that I've just added. And it's going to tell me, must I use MBR or GPT? I'm going to use GPT, and I'm going to say OK. Once I've done that, if I scroll down here, or if I just maximize this window, I can see that I've got disk 0, disk 1, disk 2, and disk 3 that has now been added. And it's unallocated. Also, it's indicating that these are all basic disks. If I go back to my question now, it says, I need to use disk management tool to create dynamic volumes. So currently, they are basic volumes. I need to firstly convert them into dynamic volumes. I'm going to go back into my disk management, and I'm going to right click on this, and I'm going to say convert to dynamic disk. And I want to convert disk 1, 2, and 3 to dynamic disks. It's now connected. You can see it's indicating that this is a dynamic disk, and disk 3 is also dynamic disk. First thing it says, what do I need to do? If I go back to my question, 10 gigabyte simple volume. So on the first disk, I'm going to go and create a 10 gigabyte simple volume, disk 1, because I've got unallocated space. I can just right click here, new simple volume, go through the wizard, and it says it's 10 gigabytes. So that's basically 10,000 megabytes. So 10, 1, 2, 3, Next. It's going to assign a drive letter. It's going to format. So this one here we said was a simple volume. What did the question say? Simple volume, RAID 1 and RAID 5. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to call it simple volume. Next, and finish. Now you can see it has created a simple volume that's roughly 10 gigabytes. I didn't do the exact conversion, and the rest of the disk is free. I can now take a screenshot of this. So if I go into my operating system here, my host operating system, and if I press Windows S, I want the snipping tool, so I'm going to say Windows Snip. I'm going to open up the snipping app. I'll click on New, and then I'll drag across to show that I've created my simple volume here. Here's my simple volume. And I'm going to go into my assignment document. There's my assignment document, my Word document. It says for 4 marks, I need to show that a simple dynamic volume has been created successfully. So Control, hold it down, press the letter V once to paste. And I need to indicate here, simple dynamic volume created on Win 10A. That's the first screenshot that I need. Next screenshot says a RAID 1 dynamic volume is created. Now I'm going to go back here and do I need this? Let me just close all of these windows. Okay, 10AA, I want, no, I didn't want to do that. Let me just open it again. So I'm going to go to Hyper-V. Windows, Hyper. Okay, so I'm in here now, and what I want to do is I want to go to the disk management. Right, so there's my disk management. I've created the simple volume here. Next thing I want to do is I want to create the next question says 20 gigabyte RAID 1 volume. 20 gigabyte RAID 1 volume. I'm going to go back here, and on disk 2, I'm going to say new. RAID 1 now means that it is a striped volume. So I'm going to say new striped volume. RAID 0 is mirrored volume, and RAID 1 is a striped volume. So I'm going to say new striped volume. That's RAID 1. Go next. And it says I need at least 2 disks. Okay, so I've got disk 2, I'm going to select disk 2 and I'm going to select disk 3. And I'm going to go next. It's going to assign a drive letter. And I'm going to call this a RAID 1 volume. We'll perform a quick format. Go next. Now, where did it ask? Did it ask me for a new striped volume? Okay, the space. I didn't type in the correct space. It's on 130 here. So I need this to be 20 gigs. So 20,000. And I'm going to go next, next, RAID 1, and then finish. Now I can see for RAID 1, they said in total, it must be 20. So from each disk, I must actually take 10 gigs because the total volume size needs to be 20. There's it here, total volume size. So go next, 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 and then I've got 20 gigabytes, and then I'm going to go finish. Now I can see there's my RAID 1 volume that has been created. I'm going to go here and take a screenshot. I'm going to go to my assignment. And then I'm going to put in the next screenshot. And then I'm going to type that RAID 1 volume created on Win 10A. Next one it says I need to do is a RAID 5 volume. So I'm going to go back and now I'm going to attempt to create a RAID 5 volume. I'll click on unallocated space and I can see that this is saying it is grayed out. If I do some research, I'll find that RAID 5 volumes are really supported on Windows servers and not really on Windows 10. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to take a screenshot here and I'm going to indicate that I attempted to create a RAID 5 volume. This was grayed out since this option is available on Windows server computers and not on Windows 10. I'll need to put in here a reference. So wherever you have found that it gives you this information, you're going to put in the reference here. The next screenshot I need to take is, so I've done simple, RAID 1, RAID 5, it did not allow me. And I said, what was the reason why it did not allow me? And I put in the screenshot. Then it says two-way mirror storage space on Windows 10A. I'll go back into my virtual computer now, and I want to create a storage space. Now I'm done with disk management. I'm going to close disk management, and I'm going to open up. Did I just close my entire virtual computer? Let's just see. Yes, okay. So I want to connect again to Windows 10A. log in. And here I'm going to click on the start and I'm going to look for storage spaces. I want to create a storage space. So I type in storage and it says there's an option to manage storage spaces. I click on this option to manage storage spaces. I'm going to create a new storage pool. I'll say yes. Select the drives to create the storage space. No drives that work with storage spaces are available. Make sure that the drives that you want to use are connected. So return to the main page. Now, this is done on the here in disk management. I've created 1, 2, 3 drives. Now this one is also saying it is basic. Let me convert this to a dynamic and see if it's going to allow me disk 0. It's an active partition. I'm going to say convert, convert. So they're all dynamic now. Now, if I go into storage spaces again, and I say create a new storage pool, it's still giving me the same error. Now, I'm going to cancel and I'm going to add additional hard drives and see if it's going to if it's going to allow me to create storage spaces from the additional hard drives. I'll go into my Hyper-V manager, select my virtual computer, click on settings like I did previously. So I went up to disk 4. I'm going to add another 3 hard drives here. I click on the storage controller, hard drive, add, new, next, next. This is Win10A, disk 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to add Win10A, disk 5. Apply. Click on the controller again, add, new, this is disk 6, apply, click on the controller, add, new, disk 7, apply, okay. Now remember, once I've done that, these disks needs to be initialized because if it's not initialized, it gives me this here that says it's not initialized, meaning it's attached, but Windows cannot use it. So I can right click and I can say initialize disk, and it's going to say these are the disks that you want to initialize, and I'm going to say okay. And then I'm going to go back and open the storage spaces again. So storage, manage storage spaces, create a new storage pool. Yes. Now you can see there's the 3 new hard drives that's unformatted that I can actually attach to the storage pool. So I'm going to say create a pool. Now it says, what is the resilience type that you want to create? A two-way mirror. Now what does my question ask me for? It says I need to create a two-way storage mirror on Windows 10A. Two-way storage mirror on Windows 10A. So I'm going to go back. And there's the two-way mirror here. Storage space. What size did it say it must be? I'll go back to my question. The storage space must be on Windows 10A. The pool name must be pool 1. And the storage space name must be test data. The resiliency type must be two-way mirror. Drive letter must be E. And 100 gigs is the size. Test data. So I'm going to put in my name there. Storage space name. So then test data. I've already used E, so it's not going to allow me to use E. So I'm going to leave it as it is. It's a two-way mirror. The size it must be, it says 100. Two-way mirror. Then I'm going to scroll down. So it says 100, including resiliency, it's 200. A storage space can be larger than the amount of the available capacity. When you run low on the pool, you can add more drives. So I'm going to say create the storage space. And I can see now there's a two-way mirror that has been created using the storage capacity. I can make any changes here, okay? And then you can see there's the physical drives that are being used here. So I've successfully created my storage space. Within this storage space, do they say, okay, let me just close this. Storage pool, okay. So there's my storage pool that have been created. Storage pool in the storage space. I'm going to take a screenshot indicating that I've successfully created this. Remember, my screenshot also needs to include the name. So it must include Subain here. So I'm going to go back here to my snipping tool. New. And I'm going to drag across from the top here to indicate that I've created my storage pool. Go into my answer document. Scroll down. Put in my storage pool that has two-way mirror that has been created here. And I'll write the relevant description. Now, let me see, rename pool, etc. So if I go to create storage pool here, it says no drives that work with the storage space is available you want are connected, return to the main page. So I've got a storage pool that has been created here on these physical disks. I would need to use additional hard drives, or I can manage, rename the pool, optimize it, create storage space. I'm going to click on create storage space this time, and I'm going to click on, what did it ask me in the question again? This one must be parity, 200 gigabytes. I'll go back here, and then this one is parity. It's going to be 200 gigabytes. And this is my parity. What is it called? What did they tell me to call it? Test data. So this is also test data, and it's pool 2. I can rename the pool to pool 2. Here the pool was called pool 1. Parity. Create the storage space. And now you can see I've got a two-way mirror, and I've also got a parity storage space here. Okay, so both have been created. I can now take my screenshot. Now remember, I'll need to rename this one here because it's called parity storage space. So I can change, I can rename here. So if the names are incorrect, I can always go and manage it, or I can change it. So you need to name it according to what is required, pool 1, pool 2, etc. The purpose of this demo was just to show you where to go and how to create the storage space and the storage pools, but you need to customize it according to what the question is asking. And then I go back into my answer document and I put in the next screenshot that's showing both the two-way mirror and the parity storage space that has been created. And then I type the relevant description. And this completes the demonstration.